Hello, children. I welcome you back to this portal of e-learning. I hope you are doing well. Today, we are going to discuss in detail a topic in the literature section, that's a fictional story entitled as Should Wizard Hit Mommy? That has been penned down by John Updike. Let us know your writer first. John Hoare Updike. He was born in year 1932 and died in 2009. He was an American novelist, poet, short story writer, art critic, and a literary critic. John Updike he was one of the three writers to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction more than once. Not only Pulitzer Prize, he had to his account the National Book Award, the American Book Award, the National Book Critics Circle Award, the Rosenthal Award, and the Howells Medal. He is, however, best remembered for his domestic fiction. He had about 20 novels, more than a dozen short story collections, as well as poetry, art, and literary criticism published to his account. He also had a fair hand writing children's books that he did during his career. Updike was writing at a time when the patriarchal cultural climate of the 1950s began to unravel. So this particular story about unsettling of gender roles and different perspectives is further reflected here. So let us explore it a bit more. We'll discuss about the theme. There are two themes that story talks about. The story basically deals with the issues and with the adult complexes that clash with childish innocence. The protagonist of the story is Jack, who is father to two kids, and he used to tell stories to his daughter Joanne, who was fondly called as Jo. Those stories they were influenced by his own childhood experiences, failures, and complexes. On the other hand, his daughter lives in her own world of fantasy and doesn't want to come out of it. She feels the pain of being rejected by the playmates when Roger Skunk is rejected due to his bad smell. The story highlights the point that the children also have their egos, identities, views, and attitude. The ending of the story also highlights the fact that children must understand that one must accept one's identity and gracefully accept the way we are created by God. There is another underlying theme in the story. It at the same time raises a moral issue whether parents should decide what the children should do or let the children do what they like to do. It also deals the child innocence represented by Joanne and the adult perspective represented by Jack. Joe is like most children who dream and they live in their own magical world. They are far removed from ugliness and petty differences. They are pure at heart. They are too pious. Jack invents stories and plots that he creates deal subconsciously with his own experiences and complexes of life. The story also deals with the theme that parents know what is best for the children, even though the children may not realize it. Let's talk about the short term as the introduction of the story. So what it deals in. The story revolves around Jack, who is a father to two kids, Joanne and Bobby. His wife Claire is carrying their third child. Jack had a habit of telling his daughter Jo a story every evening and especially on Saturday afternoon naps. This time, when he was telling her a story, she interrupts him and asks him questions whenever she feels that things that are being told are not right. So, Jack now finds himself in a fix and doesn't know how to resolve those questions. Parents feel that children should do or think exactly what they are told. They should believe whatever they are told by their parents. But is this the right attitude? This moral question is raised by the story and left for the reader to decide what should be done. We'll have a quick overview of the story, discussing the important points. The chapter captures a very sensitive reaction of a small girl to an important aspect of the story that her father narrates to her. It reveals the worldview of a little child to a difficult moral question that shows her mental or psychological richness. Joanne is a little girl of 4 years. She is engaged in a story session often with her father. Jack, who is the protagonist of the story, the father, he used to tell her a story every evening, especially for Saturday naps, and Jo feels herself involved with the characters and the happenings. The story always had an animal with a problem. The old owl advises him to visit the wizard, who would solve the problem. Skunk's problem was that he used to smell bad. He visited the wizard, who changed it to the smell of roses. Skunk's mother, however, was unhappy with it and took him back to the wizard. She hit the wizard and asked him to restore the original smell. She wanted her son to keep his identity of a skunk and wanted his friends to accept him for himself, what he actually was. So the wizard changes him back to smell like a skunk. After hearing the story of Roger Skunk, Jo was not happy with the ending of the story. She wants her father to change the ending. She wants the wizard to hit the mother back and let Roger be, which her father was not ready to do, to establish his authority. This raises a difficult moral question whether parents possess the right to impose their will on their children. And her father finds it difficult to answer. Let's discuss about the story now, to which I have divided into headings, the different headers that we are going to discuss in detail. And the first says the father, the daughter, and the Rogers stories. Every day, Jack told his 4-year-old daughter Joanne a story. He created a new story each day, and he had been doing so for the last 2 years. Hence, his head felt empty often. All the stories followed a similar kind of a pattern. Each story that he used to narrate had a small creature named Roger, who always had one or the other problem. To solve the problem, Roger went to the wise owl. Invariably, the owl told him to go to the magic wizard who solved his problem. The wizard always asked for more money than the Roger creature had. But he also offered a solution. He told Roger how to find this extra money. All the stories had a happy end, with Roger's father coming home from Boston. The story sessions were very tiring on Saturday because Jo never fell asleep. On the day the story begins, Joanne, she was lying in her bed waiting for another story. She wanted her father to tell her a story about Roger Skunk, a new animal. Jack presumed that they might have talked about skunks at nursery school. Jack, too, was quite enthusiastic because of the new hero. He began his story about the tiny little creature, Roger Skunk, who smelled very bad. It was because of his foul smell that none of the other little creatures would play with him. Jack went on with the story and recalled the humiliation that he had suffered in his own childhood like the skunk. Roger Stinky Skunk was miserable. He could do nothing but cry and cry. Jack even traced out with his finger Roger Skunk's tears along the side of Joe's nose. Joanne, like any other child, wanted to put the skunk out of his misery. She wanted him to reach the wise old owl, but Jack was in no hurry. He was pleased with himself as he was telling her something true and something he wanted her to know. Jack also heard his wife Claire working downstairs and felt he ought to help her paint the living room woodwork, especially since she was pregnant. Ignoring the wife, he continued the story. The skunk reached the wise old owl. Mr. Owl advised him to go to the wizard. Joe was delighted as the solution was close. That would put an end to Roger Skunk's unhappiness. But this is not what Jack had in mind. Jack said magic spells were real only in stories. He said that the owl asked the skunk to go through the dark woods under the apple trees into the swamp over a little river to the wizard's house. Roger Skunk did so. Meeting the wizard, Roger Skunk told him his problem. The wizard took Roger Skunk inside his house, where all the magic things lay jumbled together. The wizard took his magic wand and asked Roger Skunk what he wanted to smell like. Roger wanted to smell like roses. The wizard chanted some magic words and granted Roger Skunk his wish. Joe's expression of pleasure reminded Jack of his wife faking pleasure at cocktail parties. The wizard asked the skunk for 7 pennies, but the poor creature had only 4. Jack heard Claire while he was narrating the story, shifting furniture downstairs. He felt that she should not move heavy things as she was 6 months pregnant. But he went on with the story. The wizard told Roger Skunk to go to the end of the lane to look down the magic well. He would find 3 pennies there. Roger Skunk did as he was told to do so. He got the pennies and gave them to the wizard. Roger went to the woods. All the other animals gathered around him because he smelled so good. He happily played with them. So, now herein there comes a turn. Joe presumed that the story was over. This made Jack unhappy as he did not like women when they took anything for granted. He liked them hanging on to his words. So he continued the story. When Roger returned home in the evening, his mommy felt that he smelt awful. Joe was taken aback at the anticlimax in the story. His mother asked Roger Skunk who had made him smell like that. When she learnt it was the wizard, she took him right back to the very awful wizard. Joe looked frightened. Roger Skunk's mommy felt that he had smelled the way a little skunk should. On meeting the wizard, mommy hit the wizard right over the head. Joanne was annoyed, not wanting the skunk to suffer. She completed the story. She said that the wizard hit mommy on the head and did not change the little skunk back. But Jack disagreed. He said that the wizard made Roger Skunk smell bad again. Joe protested. Jack snubbed her, saying it was his story. Joe looked surprised at this. Jack continued with the story. Roger Skunk and his mommy went home and they heard the train bringing Daddy Skunk home from Boston. Then they had a good dinner, and when Roger Skunk was in bed, Mommy Skunk hugged him and said he smelled like her little baby skunk again and she loved him very much. That was the end of the story. Jack said that in due course the other animals got used to the way he was and did not mind his smell at all. Joe felt that Roger Skunk's mommy was stupid. Jack defended her as if he was defending his own mother. Jack said that the little skunk loved his his mommy more than he loved all the other little animals and believed that his mommy knew what was right. Jack went downstairs and he saw Claire had spread the newspapers and was painting the chair wearing his old shirt on top of her maternity smock. Claire remarked that the story took a long, long time. All he answered was, "The poor kid, you know." With sheer weariness, he watched his wife toil. She was toiling so hard. He noticed the woodwork, a cage of moldings, rails, and baseboards all around. It was half old tan and half new ivory. He felt himself caught in an ugly situation. He felt that both of them were caught in a cage, and he did not want to speak with her, he did not want to work with her, or even touch her. So, what was this ugly middle position, and why we are discussing it? Because it is one of the important questions pertaining to the story. So while Jack was telling the story, he heard some furniture being moved, but he did not go down to help Claire, though he knew that she shouldn't move heavy things as she was 6 months pregnant. But he continued his story. After Jack finished the story, only then he went downstairs. He saw his wife, Claire, wearing an old shirt of his on top of her maternity dress, painting the chair. He visualized the woodwork as a cage, and he felt caught in an ugly middle position. Here you need to understand that this is a representation in fictitious way of the way in which the male psyche is reinforced by the patriarchal cultural climate during 1950s, though it is still there. But that time, in those years, it began to unravel, and it extended towards 1960s and 1970s fiction as well. This unsettling of gender roles and the perspectives is further reflected in the story. The male chauvinistic attitude was reflected even while he was telling the story to his daughter. Joanne thought that the story was all over, but Jack didn't like women when they took anything for granted. He liked them apprehensive, hanging on his words, and should stick to what he says. Let's talk the important. It's like revisiting the important points in the story. So here in Jack's stories, they have a typical kind of a pattern. So all his stories, they are one or the same. The characters in Jack's stories were based on his personal experiences to a greater extent. Through the stories that he told his daughter Joanne, Jack tried to encourage goodness and decency. The animal characters in each story, a small creature, usually named Roger. So be it Roger Fish, Roger Squirrel, Roger Chipmunk, or Roger Skunk, reacted according to values based on personal conviction. The character had some problem and went with it to the wise old owl. In Roger Skunk's story, the skunk smelled so bad that none of the other little creatures would play with him. The owl told him to go to the wizard, and the wizard performed a magic spell that solved the problem. The wizard would then demand in payment more pennies than that Roger creature had, but he would direct the animal to a place where the money could be found. Then Roger would be happy and play many games with other creatures and go home to his mother just in time to hear the train whistle that brought his daddy home from Boston, and they would have a sumptuous meal. So that was a typical pattern of the stories. Now, what was the Roger Skunk's problem? Roger Skunk's problem was he used to smell very bad. And it was because of his foul smell, none of the other little creatures, they would play with him. Tiny animals called him Roger Stinky Skunk, which made him miserable. He could do nothing but cry and cry. The owl suggested that Roger Skunk meet the wizard. He told Roger that to go there and Skunk needed to go through the dark woods, under the apple trees, into the swamp, over the creek to the wizard's house. The wizard granted Roger Skunk his wish, and soon he smelt of roses. He found friends with his new smell, but his mother felt that he smelt awful. She took him back to that awful wizard, hit him on his head, and the wizard made Roger Skunk smell bad again. When Joanne felt that Roger Skunk's mommy was stupid, Jack emphatically defended her. He argued that the little skunk loved his mommy more than he loved all other little animals, believed that his mommy knew what was right. Through his story, evidently, Jack retaliated the fact that parents know what is best for the children and advocates the unquestioning obedience of the children. Now, what was Roger Mommy's reaction? When Roger Skunk he went to the wizard and told him he had no friends because of the false smell, so with the magical powers, the wizard changed his smell and he started smelling like roses. When Roger ran into the woods smelling of roses, all the other animals gathered around him. But Roger Skunk's mommy felt it awful. So he asked the wizard to change the smell again. She felt very bad about it. Then later on, after Daddy Skunk came home from Boston, they had a sumptuous meal and Mommy hugged Roger Skunk and said he smelled now again like her own baby. Now, what was Joe's unhappiness with the end of the story? Joe, like any other child, wanted the story to have a happy ending. She did not want the skunk to be rejected by his friends. She was happy when the skunk smelt of roses and was accepted by all the friends. As a result, she could not bear the fact that Roger Skunk's mommy felt that a skunk should smell like one and she hit the wizard over the head, who in turn made Roger Skunk smell very bad again. Joanne felt sorry for the skunk who had been insulted by the other creatures for smelling bad. It was for the first time that he had found company of his friends. Therefore, in order to change the end of the story, she wanted the wizard to hit the skunk's mommy on the head and not change the little skunk back into a false-smelling creature. Now, there is an autobiographical element in Jack's story always. He used to create the story out of his mind. Therefore, the stories were bound to have some autobiographical details. The story of Roger Skunk, who smelled so bad that none of the other little woodland creatures would play with him, was out of his own childhood. He remembered certain humiliations of his own. He evoked Joanne's pity by tracing Roger Skunk's tears along the side of her nose. Jack felt he was telling her something true, something she must know. Thus, when Roger Skunk's mommy found the smell of roses awful, she took him back to the wizard. She hit the wizard right over the head with an umbrella and made him change his smell to the original one. When Joanne insisted the wizard hit mommy, Jack retorted sharply. With rare emphasis, Jack defended the mommy as if he was defending his own mother. He was not willing to alter the end of the story at all and insisted that the little skunk loved his mommy more than he loved all the other little animals, since she knew what was right for him. Now, what is Jack's perception of gender roles? So, we see in the story, while Jack was narrating the Roger story to his daughter, he heard sounds of furniture being moved, but he did not go down to help Claire. Though he knew that she should not move heavy things as she was 6 months pregnant, he went only after finishing the story. So he went downstairs and saw his wife Claire wearing an old shirt on top of her maternity dress, and she was painting a chair. He visualized the woodwork as a cage and he felt caught in an ugly middle position that I have already explained to you. He felt that both of them were caged together. He did not want to speak with her, work with her, even touch her. So you see what he was thinking about his own wife. He did not wanted to touch her, contrary to the fact that she was pregnant the third time. This is a representation in fiction of the way in which the male psyche is reinforced by the patriarchal culture. This unsettling of gender roles and perspective is further reflected in the story. The male chauvinistic attitude, it is reflected everywhere. There are ample examples in the story wherein Jack's perception it was of a male chauvinism about the gender roles. So there's a story within the story. Because like the story effectively brings out Jack's emotions and the child's perspective. Jack creates a story out of his mind with autobiographical details. That's what we have discussed in the previous header. And Joanne, she wanted to know something true, something she must know, and has no wish to like going around with whatever details the father used to tell her. But he defends later on the story the skunk's mommy from Joe's allegation of her being stupid with rare emphasis, as though he was defending his own mother to her. With Joe, on the other hand, Updike successfully brings out the child's perspective. That also you need to listen carefully and should remember. She has learned about a new creature skunk at nursery school and wants him as the hero of her bedtime story. And this was not a big deal at all. Her joy and sorrow is linked to that of the protagonist, the skunk. She does not want to dwell on his sorrow. On the contrary, she wants him to get over his troubles quickly and wishes for the story to have a happy ending. She expresses her emotions, likes and dislikes immediately like any other 4-year-old. She longs for the story to end on an optimistic note that the wizard took that magic wand and hit that mommy. So we find a story within the story. So there's a stance regarding the two endings to Roger Skunk's story. The end of Joe's story ensures poetic justice where good is rewarded. Roger Skunk was innocent and having him suffer comes across as unjust. The skunk had found friends after a long time. Being isolated and humiliated is not good for a child's psyche. It is important that his mommy understood his need for acceptance amongst his peers. Meanwhile, the end of Jack's story gives out that the world is based on individual differences. One has to be true to one's identity. And this actually naturally very difficult to understand for a 4-year-old child. Also, Jack feels that parents, they are better judge of the situation, be it any kind of. And one should accept of life in all its colors. There is also a hint of marital discord in story. So there are certain threads in the story which come up, like digressions from time to time hint at the marital discord between Jack and his wife. When Jack heard a chair scrap downstairs, he realized his wife was at work, but he had no wish to hurry on at all. He made a dispirited observation of Joe's expression without a trace of sincerity and was reminded of his wife feigning pleasure at cocktail parties. He continued with the story, leaving his pregnant wife to move around heavy furniture. After the story, Jack went downstairs and watched his wife labor, but did not help her. He felt caught in an ugly middle position and must have felt trapped in responsibility and marriage. The use of this image of the cage while reveals his dissatisfaction with his marriage. The story ends with the most poignant and reveals his dissatisfaction and how so, telling in the lines that he did not want to speak with her, work with her, touch her, anything. Let us discuss the story analytically quickly. Every evening and before her Saturday naps, Jack tells his daughter Joanne a bedtime story. The ritual has been going on since Joe was 2 years old, and now that she is 4 years old, Jack is running out of ideas, and Joanne is losing interest. The stories always follow a basic pattern concerning an animal named Roger who has a problem. Roger goes to the wise owl, who in turn sends him to the wizard, who performs a spell and fixes the problem and makes Roger very happy. Roger then plays with the other little animal and gets home in time to hear his daddy come home on the train for dinner. Jack is tired of his bedtime story ritual with Joanne for two distinct reasons. First, it is an obligation to his children, which, like most of his familial obligations, he finds increasingly tiring. Second, he has run out of interesting story ideas and is stuck recycling the same plot points, which is torturous for someone who enjoys telling stories. Additionally, Jack's story form likely mimics his own domestic arrangement, in which Joan is home all day with Claire until he comes home on the train for the dinner. Jack is preoccupied with pointing out emblems of his daughter's growth because it indicates that she is moving away from the unchallenging innocence of her baby brother towards consciousness and rebellion. By suggesting Roger be a skunk, Joe is bringing outside knowledge into the story that Jack cannot control. He is happy for this because it gives him new fodder as a storyteller, allowing Roger to become a personal character for Jack, who uses memories of his own to craft a narrative about being ostracized in the same way he currently feels in his marriage. Jo feels, on the other hand, for Roger's skunk because, as a child, she is also concerned about being accepted by her peers. Jack is happy in turn because Joanne's discomfort indicates that he has her attention and she is in control. And he also is in control of the story. He also uses the story to ignore his responsibilities to Claire, his wife, although his comments suggest that he is aware that he is dodging his duties. Jo's interjection suggests that she has learned the structure of Jack's story and she is able to tell it herself. For Jack, this represents a reversal in their power dynamic. Jo is no longer content blindly accepting everything he says. It also icks him as a storyteller to have his flow interrupted by her questions. In addition to questioning his authority, Joanne's insistence on reality upsets Jack because he uses his stories as a way to escape from reality and reconnect with his own childlike innocence instead of the duty and drudgery of his life. Jack's excitement when performing his wizard impression shows that, despite finding story time monotonous, Jack also enjoys that it allows him to behave like a child and be freed from reality. Joanne's question about the wizard is another indication of her reality phase. It also relates to the theme of growing up because it indicates that, despite Jack's best efforts and impressions, Jo is not enthralled by the story and would rather be in control of the narrative herself. Jack is particularly angered by Jo's lack of interest because it reminds him of the ways Claire also undermines and dismisses him, and that is under cloud of the thought. Indeed, as Jo grows up to behave and look more like Claire, Jack is unable to separate them in his mind, viewing both of them as women, though she was just 4 years old, and who seek to undermine him, but there was no reality at all. In addition to questioning his authority, Jo's lack of engagement with Roger's story takes Jack's limited enjoyment out of the task and turns it back into one of his stifling familial duties. Claire is repainting furniture to prepare for the arrival of their third child. So for Jack, the sound is not only a reminder of worse chores to come, but also of the pressures of an expanding family that he already feels constrained by. Jack's observation about uninterested women is another example of the ways in which his strained relationship with Claire transfers to how he views his daughter's behavior. The sweeping generalization also indicates that Jack views Claire and women more generally as seeking to undermine and infantilize him. The desire to keep women apprehensive is therefore overtly misogynistic, as it suggests that making women uncomfortable is the only way Jack feels he can reclaim power from them. Driven by the desire to make Jo unhappy and to therefore regain control of his narrative in ways that he cannot control his life, Jack changes his classic story form in an effort to teach Joe a lesson about duty and responsibility. Instead of allowing Roger to be free of the burden of his sin, Jack explains that Roger gave his chance at full acceptance, up out of a duty to his mother, much in the same way that Jack feels his family life is constraining his freedom. Too young to have a concept of duty, Joe doesn't accept Jack's story and views Roger's mother as the villain for refusing to allow Roger to have the acceptance of his peers. Therefore, Joe believes that Roger's mother should be punished for her transgressions. Joanne and Jack's fundamental disagreement at the end of the story reveals that as a child, Joanne feels a duty only to herself and therefore cannot understand why Roger would compromise his happiness for the sake of his mother's. Joe's shocking pronouncement that the wizard should hit Roger's mother to punish her suggests that Jack's resentment towards his wife is not staying well hidden and is in fact subconsciously influencing Joe's life also. Even during story time, which is supposed to be both Joanne and Jack's reprieve from reality. In addition, the suggestion of physical violence against a stupid mommy suggests that Jack may be physically abusive towards Claire. Joe's ultimatum about Roger's story signals to Jack that he is no longer able to control his daughter's opinions, and that she will soon begin contradicting him like Claire does. For Joanne, however, her insistence that Roger's mother be punished is just a further indication that she is using story time to process a real element of her family dynamic, her parents' unhappy and potentially violent relationship. When Jack finally does interact with Claire, he is listless and depressed. He notes that the first thing Claire does is to chide him for the length of his story, indicating that he believes their relationship to be fundamentally hostile. In addition, despite explaining multiple times that he needs to help Claire paint, he is ultimately too tired to do so, choosing instead to mourn the fatiguing nature of his duties to his family. Like the woodwork in his living room, Jack feels caught in a liminal space between his present unhappiness and resentment in an unfulfilling marriage, and with that unhappiness in the marriage, he had 3 kids and the future promise of more children and more confining responsibilities. As Claire paints, she is also building the cage around him, that's what he feels. While he understands that she is also limited by their life together, he sees her primarily as his tormentor and not his ally. This is the end of the story. I hope I made it to the point clear to you, followed by a short assignment wherein the first question reads, what is the moral issue that the story raises? The next that says, why does Jack insist that it was Wizard that was hit and not the mother? And what makes Jack caught in ugly middle position? This is the end of the chapter. If you have any queries, any questions, you can post in the comment tab. I'll get back to you earliest possible. Happy learning. This is the end of the lesson.